Good morning. Good morning, replay viewers and web viewers and live viewers. I accidentally turned my diffuser off, I just noticed. Oh well. Oh well, what are you going to do? Got a little tilts going on. How are you? Look, what's happening here? It's Sunday. We'll call it Sweatshirt Sunday. I haven't been up since 6 o'clock. It's a miracle. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Just real quick. Hey, Tanya. Hey, everybody. Really quickly. My name's Michelle Wolf, and you can find me here, CaddyshackDesigns.com. And across the top are tabs that let you know everything I do. Good morning. Here are the workshops that are coming up. You guys will have to screenshot it. There's quite a few. Women's, men's, young women's. Oh, no. Young women's. And this is a Desire Map Level 2 workshop. So that's all the stuff coming up so far. I think the Young Women's Workshops end in May. Sweet! It's going to be awesome. I have a lot of materials for you guys. A lot of how to how to do goal setting, actual goal setting, but stay in tune with what we talk about here every day. Finding the feeling first, and then doing your action steps, and then defining your action steps and being flexible. So, and it's only 3 weeks, 2 hours a week, not too bad. Just some more deepening of that skill set. And then probably workshops don't seem to work too well in the summer. I mean, in the fall and the winter. So I might work, till like September and then take the end of the year off or just do individuals. But we'll see. There's no need to decide all that now in January. The other thing I want to tell you is I'm doing that book. And I think, Tanya, you're doing it too. The art, is it the Japanese Art of Tidying Up? It's a decluttering book, but it's completely different. It's different than any other decluttering method I've ever tried. And I'm finding it remarkably effective. And the one thing I'm asking myself is, she says, ask yourself, does this spark joy? Does this item spark joy? And if it doesn't spark joy, out it goes. A lot of clothing is heading out the door. It's really cool. And she has you go by category instead of room by room. So all your books, all your clothes, one category at a time. It's I'm finding it much more effective. So the 2 rules I'm doing is, does this spark joy? Oh, okay. It's pretty cool. Even if you can do just a little bit of it, it's pretty cool. And then, oh gosh, yeah. We've been reducing for a while. And there's still more. So for books, what's helping me is, does this spark joy? And can this be replaced for less than $20 and in less than an hour? Is the minimalist guideline. And yes, it can. If I really needed a book, I could get it on my Kindle in 5 minutes. If I just had to have it for a reference, $10, 5 minutes, I can replace any of these books. I do the $20 rule. So if it can be replaced for less than $20 and within 60 minutes, get rid of it. That eliminates all but I might need this package of cup hooks someday. But I might need this giant package of picture hangers. I actually do keep picture hangers. Hey, Jana, because we move our pictures around a lot. DVDs can be replaced. Books can be replaced. Random collections of nails and chip clips can be replaced. If you really got to have a chip clip, you can go to Walmart and get one within an hour and for less than $20. Reference books. Tanya. So many reference books. And yeah, Uncle Google is the problem solver. So, in my mind, decluttering fits with this decluttering of our head that we're doing, especially with this Tao Te Ching study. We're pretty much boiling our lives down to the minimal stuff that really brings us joy, and that includes the inside of our heads. Oh God, Tanya, keeping textbooks is the worst. And I'm so guilty of that as well. But getting rid of books is the hardest part for me, personally. So here's how I solve that. So I just want to pass on this little tip, this little decluttering tip of my own. So the Goodreads app, Goodreads, it's a book app. It's awesome. It helps you keep track of the books you're reading and share that with your friends, and the books you have read and the books you want to read. Yeah, I started using it because I find books I want, and then I can't remember. When I go to buy a book, I can't remember. Oh, Pinterest, that's another great idea. You don't have to keep every book you've ever read. If it can be easily replaced. Now, some books I have that are out of print, I'm not getting rid of those. Some books I have that I've had forever, and I just love seeing them on the shelf. Keeping those. But books that I'm keeping because I think I might need that information later, out. But I'm keeping track of all the titles in Goodreads so I don't feel like, what if I forget the name of this book? What if I need it later and I can't remember the title? Okay, easy enough. Scan it into Goodreads. Done. That way it can settle down my lizard brain who thinks if I get rid of books, I'm actually getting rid of air. But I'm going to keep them, and for anybody coming in June to the retreat, I'll have a big box here. You can bring books of your own that you want to exchange. We'll do a book exchange. Yeah, if you put them in Goodreads, then you know you're going to remember the title. If you really need that book, you can go back and find the exact title. And then it settled that anxiety. Book exchange in June. If you're coming to the retreat, there'll be a big box here. Bring your own books if you want to exchange. I'm going to have a big pile of books people can dig through. Whatever's left over, I'll donate to Goodwill. And again, CaddyshackDesigns.com. And we will get to the books we're actually here to read today. CaddyshackDesigns.com. Ding, ding. I'm still using the Northern Lights Black Spruce Oil. Very relaxing. Still can't get enough of it. Okay. Getting rid of books. So hard. Oh yeah, credit at the used bookstore. Awesome idea. Just scan the crap out of those books. Scan your books and then get rid of them. And this is a resource too I put up yesterday. Dan Howard, intentionalresting.com. Go to free resources. Download the guided resting experience. It's super cool. It's very relaxing. Did I leave it up there long enough for you guys to screenshot it? I saw the little camera, but I might have taken it down too fast. We were talking about decluttering, Michelle. I was having trouble getting rid of books, so I'm scanning them into Goodreads. So I feel like if I need them, I'll remember the title. I can go to Goodreads and pull the titles up. And I'm getting rid of reference books because Google, I don't even pull out my reference books anymore, right? I go straight to Google anyway. I don't take the time to go dig the book off the shelf and flip through it. I can find anything on Google in about 5 minutes. If it's there to be found, I can find it. Because I've been doing research on Google since my graduate school program. So I got really good at search terms and rearranging words and working within Google's algorithm stuff for their searches. So, no problem. So, let's read. Let's start here today. Oh, and Michelle, we were saying, as we're decluttering our mind, decluttering our houses makes sense. Oh, cool. We've done it. I've done it for myself several times. And we did it before we moved. Yeah, and a book exchange in June. And then I'm doing it again. I'm finding even more stuff. So here's what I have left. Little random collections of just because things. Like, we should keep these clips in case we need them, because God knows we don't want stale tortilla chips, even though we have 4,000 clips already. So we're getting rid of those. Right in the garbage. Okay. We're on verse 37. Yeah. Stale tortilla chips, unacceptable. Unacceptable. We didn't have to worry about that in Colorado. It's so freaking dry there. You can leave your chips open. First of all, there's no bugs. So bugs don't get in your chips if you forget and leave the bag open. And it's so dry, your chips don't go stale. So when we moved here, I had to remember all my skills from growing up in Texas. And then I had to teach Heath, hey, if you don't want your crackers to turn into like goo, you have to close them. First of all, there's bugs. Second of all, there's humidity. So overall, in this book, the way never does anything and everything gets done. If those in power could hold to the way, the 10,000 things would look after themselves. If even so they tried to act, I'd quiet them with the nameless, the natural. Not in Colorado or Arizona. In the unnamed, in the unshapen, is not wanting. In not wanting is stillness. In stillness, all under heaven rests. You still got to close your bags, because that's gross to leave stuff open to the air. But if you forget and leave it open, see cereal or whatever, it doesn't get stale. It's too dry. In not wanting is stillness. There's a difference in a heartfelt desire to express something or achieve something and a craving. I almost feel like they're talking about the wanting that is a craving, is an obsession, is muddied up with ego. But again, the things we're reaching for them because we think when we get them, we're going to feel good. We're going to feel connected, and we're going to feel whole and complete. So if you reach for whole and complete first, a lot of your goals fall away. And then goals that are in alignment with that soul expression become forefront, and you see them more clearly. So your whole list of goals may change and reduce to like 2. But as you sit in the wholeness, as you rest in the stillness, new goals arise, and the tasks to get to those goals arise naturally. Does that make sense? The action becomes inspired. You're not sitting around thinking about, how do I do this? How am I going to pull this off? What do I need to do? It just literally pops in your head. I'm not even kidding. It sounds so counterintuitive. It's counter to everything we've been taught, but it's true. Here the themes of not doing and not wanting, the unnamed and the unshapen, recur together in one pure legato. It is wonderful how, by negatives and privatives, she's using some $2 words here that I don't understand. Lao Tzu gives us a sense of serene, inexhaustible fullness of being. I don't know what legato means. Legato. I also don't know what privatives means. Privatives. Vocabulary lesson. Doesn't matter. It don't matter. Hey, Susan, I didn't even see you. totally missed you coming in. Doubted Jean, Stephen Mitchell. Let's see what he says about verse 37. I'm definitely experiencing this more and more in my life, like every single day, doing without doing. That when the impulse to act and declutter strikes you, it's not a struggle. You just get up and start doing it, and it feels great. That's different than, oh my God, I've got to declutter my closet. I have too many clothes. I've got to force myself in there and spend all day. That's way different. The Tao never does anything, yet through it, all things are done. This is a recurring theme. It's so exciting. So exciting. If you don't feel that natural urge and excitement, it's the wrong timing. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. I really think that's been misinterpreted a lot. Because it doesn't talk about natural and kind of unnatural desires. I've heard people say that their goal is to banish desiring anything. That's crazy talk. That's freaking insane. There's no way you're going to banish desire. Desire is life. Desire is life force flowing through you. And the desire of something new or an experience or an expression is what pulls love through you and pulls life through you. So, the clarification I would make when it talks about desire is just that, what I said earlier. The craving kind of obsessive desire and the natural, pure expression desire. It's a little different. There's a subtle difference there. Have you guys thought about the subtle difference between being grateful and appreciating? Esther Hicks talks about that. Yes, desire without attachment. There you go. Desire without requiring that your desire complete you in some way, because you're already complete. No attachment to the outcome. Gratitude versus appreciating is, hey Catherine, when this is hard to grasp, well, for me it was hard to grasp. You're here. If you're grateful for something, it tends to imply you're thinking of also in that moment of the lack of it. So if I say I'm grateful some money came in the back of my head is also thinking that it sucked without it. So I'm grateful that money comes in because it sucks without it. So there's a mix there where appreciating is not comparing the state of having versus the state of not having. It's simply appreciating what's in front of you at the moment, unlabeled. So saying I appreciate, yeah, it's a little bit different. And I think I'm going to switch my language to appreciation rather than gratitude. Because gratitude implies the lack. I'm grateful for a home because being without a home sucks. Rather than like switching need to deserve. Yeah, that's a good comparison too. I'm appreciative of, I appreciate you all because, so if I say I'm grateful for you all, that implies a relief that you're all here, and there's a relief of loneliness that comes from that. There's a release from not having people to talk to about these concepts where, yeah, it's a little bit different. You can have all the money in the world, but if it has no value to you, it's worth nothing. Grateful does give me a feeling that lack is possible. Yeah, like I got to be grateful for it while it's here. And then when it goes away, it's going to stink again. And I remember, me too. I feel it in my body. the difference between gratitude and appreciation. Because thinking about I'm grateful for your presence reminds me of why I was so relieved when you got it. Definitely. Yeah, it popped up again. I've thought about it before. I mean, I heard her talk about it before. And it took me a little while to grab it. But appreciation is, I appreciate you here today, right now. And if you're not here tomorrow, I'm still okay. And I don't need to think about the time when you weren't here. Because that's in the past. Appreciative keeps me in the present. Gratitude makes me think of past without you, potential future without you. Both of those suck. If I'm attaching my well-being to those concepts. Yes, gratitude gives a feeling of relief, and it's not necessary. Grateful for what you get, appreciative of what you have. Grateful definition is appreciation to you. There's a teeny little difference there. And I'd encourage you to sit with it. There's a tiny little difference. Gratitude and underneath it just makes you remember when you didn't have it, and there can introduce a tiny bit of fear of what might happen when you don't have it. It's coming down to attaching to outcomes. So I feel great if I have this relationship, whatever it is. I didn't feel good before I had it, and if I lose it, I'm not going to feel good. Those are attachments to past and future. It's very subtle. It's a teeny little difference. So if you're doing gratitude practice, just experiment with switching that to appreciation practice. Appreciation for what I have right now without worrying about what it was like when I didn't have it, or worrying about what it might be like if I lose it. So when money comes in, sometimes, yeah, it is a mind shift. When money comes in, we're grateful for it. But it implies there's a little bit of fear that when it goes away, I'm not going to feel good anymore. I don't know. Sit with it. Sit with it and see what you think. Appreciation is not putting me out in the future or the past. Whatever. Whatever you want to do with that. I do too. I like it because it takes me out of past and future. Past without it, potential future without it. Yeah, pretty much. You can boil it all down. Talk about it every day. Everything I talk about every day is choose love, not fear. Choose love, not fear. We just talk about it with different words, with different books. But I could just sit here and hold up a sign every day that says, choose love, not fear, okay? See ya. Let's see what Byron Katie has to say about this chapter today. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. Oh, that's great, Tanya. That's so great. I hope the kids like naming the voice in their heads. Whether they call it a gremlin or a puffball. Sarah's daughter calls it a puffball. Choose fear, not love. Hashtags are awesome. We're deconstructing our stories every day that make us choose fear instead of love. Try to make yourself do nothing and you can't. You're being breathed, being thought, being moved, and being lived. There's nothing you can do not to eat when it's time to eat, or sleep when it's time to... That's awesome. That's a good one. It's true. If you just watch, allowing whatever comes to come and whatever goes to go, you can realize in every moment that you don't need anything but what you have. Okay, that's interesting because that is appreciation. Where are your hands right now? Who put them there? Did you do that? And then no matter what your thinking is, you it moved again. Maybe it moved your foot. Maybe it swallowed, or it blinked your eyes. Just notice. Then that's how you enter not doing, where everything falls sweetly into place. The miraculous life of not doing has an intelligence of its own. I realize I'm not doing anything, and in that awareness, the fullness that's always present is recognized. God must mirror God. The experience is joy without personality or investment, watching out of eyes unknown. Not my words, not my presence. Nothing about me is of value to other people. What is of value can't be seen or heard. I'm invisible. She talks about this a lot. We're a blank slate. Because your story of me is your story of me, and every one of you will see me a little bit differently, will hear what I say a little bit differently. And it's not my business. That's your business. My business is my story. Your business is your story. You can't ever know someone 100% because you can't ever be inside their own head, inside and see through their eyes. We have words, we have some intuition, and we can try to share our experiences, and we do the best we can. But we're fallible. Yes. It colors our relationships every day. Our stories change. Your spouse's story of you is not your story of you. And when those change, a lot of communication is required to stay on the same page. As much as you can, stay on the same page. What people can see through questioning is their own truth. That's where the value is. Knowing your own story is where the value is. That's what can be experienced when you're tired of suffering. You can reach out and have that because it's your very own. It's your own truth. Whenever it seems personal, as if I'm the one who has it, it can't be accepted because there is nothing personal, and people know this deep inside. You take the 4 questions and find yourself. The 4 questions are, is it true? Is it really true? How do I feel when I think that thought? And how can I turn it around? The questions are the path back to yourself. They don't care what the story is. They just wait for you to answer them. When you're caught up in a should, the minute a should comes out of your mouth toward your spouse or your children, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Kidding. No, not really. You really have to check yourself when you say that. When you're caught up, chickity, check yourself. When the story falls, it feels like I don't even know myself. Yes, you just am. You just are. You just am. I just am. Without story. Without filters. Without labels. And your pure appreciation in that moment. You're just loving whatever you see. Traffic, spouse, grocery store. You just appreciate it. It is a little scary as it feels so unfamiliar. And then you're like, well, what do I do now? Don't worry about it. What to do next will arise in that gap. That gap is where your next action will arise. It's where your next creative impulse comes from. And when you can stay aware, you feel it come from source. And it's incredible. You have that thought. I'm ready to declutter my books now. I think I'm going to stand up and go do that. I think I need to brush up my resume. I have an impulse to send it off to somebody in particular, so I'm going to go do that. Not me personally, I'm just talking. I'm not sending my resume to nobody. This is my resume right here. You're looking at it. Hi, Linda. Question your stressful thoughts. 1 finger pointing out, 3 fingers pointing back at you. Remember that little visual. If I'm pointing at you, 3 fingers are pointing back at me. It's my problem, not yours. My problem. And look what I found when I was decluttering. So I'm going to add this at the tail end of stuff. A Year of Miracles, Marianne Williamson. Because why not? And guess what today's is? No matter what the problem, the solution is love. Bada bing, bada boom. We're almost done, Roseanne. We're almost done. Dang it. No matter what the problem is, love is the solution. Love will help you question your thoughts. Oh, thanks, Roseanne. Yesterday's was good. Hello. You guys are so awesome. No matter what the problem, the solution is love. There's but one problem and one solution. It was super early. Susan, it was like at the crack of dawn. The replay's probably gone, but you guys can catch. You can catch replays on the Catch. katch.me/Michelle Wolf 11. You were dreaming. Yes, thank you, Michelle. All the replays are there. The Gremlin replay is hashtag lemon droppers. Oh. Dang it. There is but one problem, one solution. All problems are a deviation from love. All solutions are a return to it. Done. I never have to scope again. Whatever problems I face today, I will look for answers inside myself. Mic drop. And the questions help you do that. Is it true? Is it really true? How do I feel when I think this thought? Who would I be without this thought? And then turn it around. And then the last thing she has you do is look forward to experiencing it again. Whatever situation you're upset about, look forward to it happening again, because it will offer you the gift of seeing how far you've come. In my experience, when you're really done with it, it doesn't happen again. If it comes back around, there's a little more work to do. It usually comes back around in a less offensive form or a less dramatic form, unless you've been ignoring it. Then it comes back around in a louder form. Yes, I will. Yeah, it is for me too, Tanya. Like, I don't want to experience that again. I'm scared if I say that, I'm jinxing myself. Like, I'm scared if I say, well, I don't mind experiencing poverty, then I'm going to jinx myself. That's not what happens, though. Yes, what comes back around still needs love, still needs questioning, still needs acknowledgement and acceptance. I will put the worksheet as a file in the Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, Cynthia, wash, rinse, repeat, yeah. If you're not on Facebook, you can find the worksheets at thework.com. But I'll put one in the Facebook group so it's handy. I will search my heart for any lack of love, lack of forgiveness, lack of acceptance of my brother or myself. I will be lifted then to an illumined place where wisdom and truth shall guide me. There I will find the answers that I seek. Here's a biggie for relationships in particular. I kind of don't want to read it. Yes, let go of worrying about your marriage and let spirit guide what's next. Let go of worrying about what he's going to do or not do, or she's going to do or not do. Because here's the thing. They're going to do or not do what they do. They're going to do it or not do it, and your opinion about it doesn't really change anything. Oh, that's awesome. Do. Yeah, shoot, do. They're going to do it. They're going to do what they do when they do what they do. Your opinion about it doesn't change it. We know that from experience. We know that our opinion about what they do doesn't change it. A lot of times it just drives it underground. I love men, but... Okay, here's the prayer for today. May I not be tempted today to put blame on others. I myself am the source of my healing, as when I allow you, Divine Beloved, to change my mind. May your spirit guide me to a better place that my problems may disappear. That sounds kind of contradictory, because acceptance of where you are guides you to a better place. So the prayer is opening you up to being willing to release, I think. Scolding. Yeah, scolding doesn't work. Yeah. You'd be like, what? Who do you think you are scolding me? Back up. Step off, bro. Yeah, that's what we do. We bitch and scold and we call it discussion. But that's not really what we're doing. I smack myself all day. Yeah, you'd be like, you better back that ass up, buddy. That's what you'd say. That's what they say. And we say, let them off the hook. Yesterday, Porter teased Sky that she was being lazy. Which part? They do feel wrong. I don't care if people call me lazy, because sometimes I am lazy. Sky's got it. Men feel wronged. Doesn't mean it's right, but that is how a lot of them feel. Oh, they're not going to end as long as I've got air and a phone. I'm lazy too. So? A lot of men feel wronged by our culture. So the work is figuring out that they don't have to buy into the culture. Here's the number one complaint that I've heard from men the entire time I've been working with men. Here's what they say. They say the women in their lives want us to express our feelings, and when we do, we get smacked for it. I'm telling you, I've heard that a zillion times. They want us to cry, and when we do, they react with disgust. And they see us as less than. So they ask for emotion, and then when they get it, we get judged so harshly for it, we'll never do it again. I hear it all the time. And if you check yourself, you've probably done that. I've done it. And you're like, I don't know if I can handle this. You're like, a man's expressing emotion, and I just told him to, and now I'm really uncomfortable, and it feels awkward. We do it. And ultimately, it's their responsibility to take responsibility for that process, right? They don't need to be waiting around for permission to express emotion. It's part of the culture, and mothers and parenting has done that to them, and then it's all of our responsibilities to act on it the way we do now. We have to take responsibility for where we are now. And we have to be careful if demanding anything of another person. If I'm demanding that you express emotionally to me, I need to be checking myself. Where am I not expressing emotionally in my head? I do now. Yeah, I do now. And when it happens now, I'm not uncomfortable with it. But I've had a lot of men cry in my office. I've witnessed a lot of men's rage, so it doesn't scare me anymore. It's not uncomfortable anymore. I had to work on transferring that acceptance of a male client's rage to acceptance of my husband's rage, because it's one thing when you're in therapist mode to receive someone's rage. It's, but you're not wearing that hat at home, or you shouldn't be. It's a different kind of receiving. You're receiving their emotion in a different way. Expectations are the demise of most relationships, yeah. Because expectations lead to disappointment. You can have expectations, but understand that they may or may not be met by an outside person. You are probably going to have to meet those expectations yourself before your partner can. Expressing feeling through words is a great intimacy. Yes. Expressing feelings through shouting is hard to hear. You can talk about them, yes. The greatest thing a couple can do is talk about expectations that they have. My husband expected that I was going to be like his mom, and I had no intention of doing that. As far as like preparing dinner and doing the laundry, and I cook when I feel like cooking, but I'm not going to cook every night at 6 o'clock. I'm not going to fold your laundry and put it away for you. You've got 2 hands. And that's not in I do it if, now we do what needs to be done. Whoever's, if there's laundry in the dryer and I need to put wet clothes in there, then I take the laundry out and take care of it. But it's not like an assigned role. Or you make agreements about roles. Heath does the outdoor stuff. I do the grocery shopping. He handles home repair. I handle anything that has to do with the computer. Any online bill paying or financial stuff I handle. That may not be the best decision, but he won't have anything to do with it. Taking care of our taxes, I do that. He does home repair. I don't want to do home repair, and he doesn't want to do the taxes. But you got to talk about those things. Otherwise, it leads to resentment. If you're expecting your partner to take care of the taxes and then it's kind of getting dumped on you. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to mow the lawn. I can. I don't want to. I don't want to change the oil in the car. I know how. I can change the oil in my car. I don't freaking want to do that. I'd much rather take care of filing the taxes. Which I don't want to do that either, but, of the two, I'd rather file the taxes. Talking about our expectations makes us feel vulnerable, so a lot of times we don't do it. And then that leads to disappointment and struggle in relationships. So, we both don't want to do the same things too similar. Oh, whoops. Then it's flip a coin. You do it this month, I'll do it next month. Take turns. I'll do the dishes this month. You do the dishes next month. Morgan and Sarah, my daughter and her wife, it's funny, they have pretty traditional gender roles, like you would think of male-female gender roles. Morgan does the housework and making the baby's appointments and doing that kind of like typical wifey things you think of. Sarah takes care of home repairs and not doing them, but arranging for them because she doesn't do them, in the finances. And it used to bother me because I was like, you're doing all the housework. Is that okay with you? And she said, yeah, because Sarah does all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, then it made sense to me. If it's a fair and equitable exchange and both parties are happy with it, okay, no problem. So, watch it when you're judging people today and apply these things to it. This stuff is no good to you if you don't apply it when you're struggling. It's just talking, which is okay too because eventually it will kick into gear. But make a conscious choice to try and apply some of these things to daily life. Oh, me too. Speaking of, even though you don't want to do it, the compromise makes it doable. Yeah, you can suffer through it if you know it's time limited and you're going to take turns. Me too. I need to wrap it up too. So, yeah. Here's the Desire Map workshops coming up. Oh my gosh, Linda. Make it stop. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bing, 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 bing. Yes, I will. And note to girls' workshops, I had that set on April 11th, and I had to move it to April 12th. My babysitting days have changed from Saturday and Thursday to Saturday and Monday, and I had that girls' workshops on Mondays, so I bumped it to Tuesday, just so you know. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your awesome questions and discussions, and think, too, about gratitude versus appreciation. See if you can feel a little bit of difference in there. Love you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow from Babyland. You're welcome.